Hey MSM Fam, thanks for watching my Wind Archer gear guide. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment about what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future. I'd like to introduce myself. I play on NA-Scania and my in-game character name is JimmyMiracle, the same one as this YouTube channel. I started playing MapleStory back in beta and it was pretty awesome. I remember like grinding on pigs, tree stumps, then flaming pigs, and then eventually like taro spears before Balrog. That was like a long time ago, but those are like much simpler times. It's currently Corona 2020 and playing MapleStory kind of gives me that like nostalgic feel when everything was all right. But anyways, back to this video. This is the first time I'm narrating my videos, so bear with me as it probably sounds pretty newbie, but I'll keep at it and try to improve bit by bit, just like in MapleStory. So if you guys have any advice, feel free to leave it in the comments below. So today we'll be talking about my Wind Archer build. We'll go through emblems, hyper skills, and hyper stats. There are a few other things like souls, flames, and potentials, but I think that's too many things and probably best to have a follow-up video just focus completely on those. Here's my shameless plug. If you'd like to ask for advice or share some knowledge about wind archers or archers in general, ping me on Discord, JimmyMiracle, #9587 to get an invite to the Archers Discord. We're slowly growing the community so that we can all improve bit by bit. So I'd like to call out that this is by no means the end-all be-all guide to wind archers. This is simply how I've chosen to play my wind archer. So take it like you would anything on the internet. This is just a guide and another data point in your research to building your very own wind archer. So emblems. I've chosen a very high crit damage weighted build. I have 8 crit damage emblems and a single boss attack emblem. That boss attack emblem is on my shoulder, and I think I fused it a long time ago, so I've just kind of kept it. Everything else, I was lucky enough to land a crit damage emblem, so that worked out great. So these 8 crit damage emblems get me around 400% or 430% when I'm buffed with my 200 buff. So let's see, I'm currently sitting on a chair, so if I get off the chair and then look at my stats, I should, oh, maybe it's on cooldown. Yes, it's on cooldown. So I have about 430% crit damage, and that helps me kind of maximize my low end damage. So I've chosen my emblem setup to optimize for the maximum theoretical like damage output. So what does that actually mean, right? Like, let's talk about the different types of emblems and buffs. We have damage buffs, and then we have attack buffs for physical damage dealers. The examples of like damage buffs are like final damage. Let's see, do I have final damage? So we can think of that like final damage from souls, and then we have physical damage buffs and crit damage buffs. These are all like attack buffs that are damage type. And then we have examples of attack type buffs. And these you can think of like a chick, like a baby chick cookie. They're like boss attack. And then we also have, I believe, a buckwheat. A buckwheat gives like 30% physical attack. And then we also have like the yogurts, which give like physical attack. When we do a comparison of attack buffs versus damage buffs, so say for example, a candy basket gives us a damage buff. When we buff these in game, we can see easily that the damage buffs, such as candy basket and chestnuts, give way more damage than the attack buffs. So following the same lines of damage versus attack, I chose to go with crit damage buffs. So I actually believe that crit damage buffs will be better in the long run because what we've seen in the past is that Nexon will most likely update the damage cap, and by having a high crit damage, we can continue to hit the damage cap. So that's it for the emblem section. So hyper skills. Let's get into my hyper skills. Let me pull that up. I've decided to go with 2 points in Song of Heaven and 3 points into Trifling Wind. The reason for that is that our Song of Heaven hits for 305 and 425% skill damage. If that doesn't make sense, send me a DM or leave a comment of how that calculation works, because I'm currently too noob at editing my videos to include a better illustration for this. But take my word for it that 305 and 425 are more than enough to hit the current max damage cap of 7.75 mil. So now that we know that our main attack, Song of Heaven, can hit the damage cap, there are really only 4 ways to achieve more DPS in MSM, and that's by either increasing the speed of our damage, which is the same as saying increasing the lines per second, and we can't really do that because Nexon controls and sets the attacks per second, so we're kind of stuck there. The next thing we could do is we can increase our damage cap, and that would be by upgrading our hypers, upgrading our souls, and our Star Force liberations. So that limit is currently at 7.75, so that is still a Nexon placed ceiling until they raise it. The next thing we can do is we can increase the total number of lines, and there's a few ways we can do that for the Wind Archer. We can do that by what we did in our hyper skills, right? Oops, not that skill. I always get them confused. So we do that by putting points into Trifling Wind, like Wind Enhance, which means it increases the chance of more lines, and Double Chance increases the percentage time we have those extra lines. And then that was the third way. And then the final way is kind of just, we can increase the average damage of our lines. So what that means is for our main attack, Song of Heaven, we already hit the cap at full buff. So we can't really increase the average damage of that line. It's already at the cap. What we can do is increase the average damage of the lines that don't hit the cap. And those would be like Trifling Wind. So the 3 points in Trifling Wind are what kind of helps build up our minimum damage. Cool, so that was my hyper skills, and now let's go into the hyper stat abilities. What did Nexon's Meso Sync have me spend 6 bill on? I put my hyper stat points into final damage. I have that maxed out. I put it into max damage increase. I have that maxed out. And then I put it into the additional activation chance. It increases the ability to add more lines of damage. So you kind of see how these all fall into the 4 ways of increasing damage that I mentioned before. One increases the, like final damage increases the average line damage because it raises it up by 15%. The max damage increase increases the total maximum we can do, so it raises the ceiling a little bit. The activation chance increases the number of lines that we do. And then the physical damage also raises the average amount of damage that we do. So, yeah. Well, that's kind of all I have for you guys. If you have any questions for me, whether you agree, disagree, hate, or love this video, leave a comment below. Hit the subscribe if you loved it. I guess don't subscribe if you didn't like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.